So it is sharp 2:20, and I think we may start the program, madam. So a very good afternoon, students. Happy to see you all join once again for today's session. And as usual, I request you to please be interactive throughout the session, and we have a lot of activities amidst the session. So please be interactive and participate in all the activities. We have with us today Ms. Amiha from Vigyan Jyoti team. Madam, can you please address the students?
Good afternoon, Rupa madam. Thank you. Also, good afternoon to Aarti ma'am and Krishna ma'am.
Good afternoon, Sameer.
Good afternoon to all the students as well. Today is your final session on communication, the life skill, and I hope you all are enjoying the sessions so far. I've received a query that some of you are unable to fill in the last Google form I've shared, which is the critical thinking life skill. So I will look into it and rectify if there are any changes to make. Also, if you are unable to log in or unable to give your answers, you may use another ID to fill in the Google form. So this is one thing I wish to inform you all is to not to worry if you are unable to submit the form. You can always use another email ID, but please make sure that you enter your name and your name of your JNV or your school along with your region correctly. Then we will be able to access your form, your submitted form. Thank you, ma'am. I think we can start the session.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Now we have with us today Ms. Aarti and Ms. Krishna Patel, who will be addressing all of you. So I request Aarti ma'am to please take it further.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, ma'am. A very warm welcome to all of you. I hope you all are doing great, children. By now, you must have learned a lot of, a lot of life skill lessons, and I'm sure you all must be implementing these skills in your daily life also. So, children, today you all will get to learn another lesson on assertion, part 5 and 6. Before I request Ms. Krishna to take over, let me brief you with certain rules and regulations. As you all know, we have different categories of prizes like 5 smartwatches, 10 LED table lamps, 20 flash drives, and medals for 100 participants. So moving ahead to the conditions which will make you eligible for these prizes are 100% attendance, maximum correct responses. Children's submission of Google form with your name, school name, and your JNV. That is something very important. All the participants will get digital certificates after the completion of these sessions. The students can either connect through the virtual platform of Zoom or by clicking on YouTube link. Do not forget to answer the poll questions, which will be reflected after the short intervals of the ongoing sessions. And last but not the least, children, you can also, connect through Google Drive link and upload your feedback videos, and you can send them to us, which can be of a very short duration, say about 1 or 2 minutes. So stay tuned. Over to you, Krishna ma'am.
Thank you, Aarti ma'am. Thank you, Rupa ma'am, and thank you, Samiha ma'am, for the introduction. So good afternoon, students. I hope you all are enjoying your holidays and vacation. So my name is Krishna Patel, and I am from Aparajita Foundation. So since last 2 sessions, I just read somebody's message that today is last session. Today is not the last session. Today is the last session for life skill communication. So we have more classes till 25th. So don't worry, we have more on creative thinking and other life skills. So in last 2 sessions, we have learned about communication. So what we have learned is we learned about passive behavior, then aggressive behavior and passive aggressive behavior and assertive behavior. So we learned how these people behave in different conditions. We saw the scenarios, the same scenarios, and how different people behaved in the same scenarios. So we could make out the difference that how what affects if a person is passive and aggressive or passive aggressive and assertive. So we saw the same conditions for all the people. So we learned that people having passive behavior are not self-confident. They develop low self-esteem over a period of time, and they give in to others' decisions even if they feel that it is not right, and they are not able to raise their voice against any unjust thing or speak for themselves. So in the long run, they lead a very low quality life because of these characteristics, that they don't speak up for themselves. Whereas people having aggressive behaviors, they just speak, and without they hurt others, they don't think before saying anything, and others find them too arrogant as they only think about themselves and are very oppressive. So these people will not make a good team member, and their relationships will also be strained over a period of time. So aggressive behavior is also not good. We saw that passive and aggressive behavior. So then we also saw about people having passive aggressive behavior who give primary importance to their own rights and needs, and they are not straightforward or honest in their dealings with others, and they make excuses. So you can't trust them because they don't speak the right thing, even if, we saw through different same situations, how passive aggressive people behave. They gave excuses, they didn't say the thing correctly. So passive aggressive behavior is also not good. Over a period of time, you lack friends, and you don't have friends, or you are not successful if you go on doing such things. So then we learn about assertive behavior. So people with assertive behavior give equal importance to their own rights and that of others also. It's not that they'll just give importance to their own rights, but they'll give to others also. They're very straightforward and honest in expressing their needs and opinions. If they find it right, they'll say. If they don't find, they'll say that. And it results in increased self-esteem over a period of time, and they get respect because they are very honest and they speak honestly what they feel. So these kind of people achieve their goals without affecting others, because they do think about others' rights and needs also. They just don't think about their own rights and needs. So they achieve their goals without affecting others, and they have meaningful relationships because of such nature, and they have reduced conflict or friction with others because they think about others also. It's not just that they think about themselves. So today we'll have one last session on communication skill of assertiveness, and the topic is today also is assertiveness, but it's not the last session of the workshop. It's the last session on the communication skills. So today also, like other days, we'll watch a video where you'll have scenarios and stories where you have to give answers and give responses in the chat box, and I know you respond very quickly, and all of you participate. And so since last 3-4 sessions are pending, so I want everyone to participate, and I want everyone to give your responses, because we want everyone to win the prizes. So today we'll see another session on the same life skill, communication, where we'll have watch a video now. So let's go through the video.
Together, a new world.
Hello, friends. I'm so happy to see you all once again. Thuria was busy preparing for her exam when a friend next door wanted her to draw a picture for her on a greeting card she was making. If Thuria were to show passive aggressive, and assertive behavior in response, what would she do? Now, another exercise. You shall see on the screen a few statements on one side and types of behavior on the other side, but in a mixed order. You have to match them appropriately. Ready? Examples of behavior, type of behavior. If someone interrupts me when I am speaking, I will keep quiet.
So students, read here carefully. On the left-hand side, you'll have examples of behavior, and on right-hand side, you'll have types of behavior. So they are not matched properly. You have to match them. So just read attentively, and then you can give your responses.
Passive aggressive. I express my feelings appropriately, without hesitation. Aggressive. I know how to hit back at someone who insults me. Assertive. I make sarcastic comments while doing something I don't like to do. Passive.
So students, here you have to give your answers. Which one do you think is passive aggressive? Which one is aggressive? Which one is assertive and passive? So these are not matched properly. You have to match them. First one, what do you think it is? If someone interrupts me when I'm speaking, I'll keep quiet. Which type of behavior is it? Second is I express my feelings appropriately without hesitation. So what type of behavior is this? And third is I know how to hit back at someone who insults me. Then the fourth one is I make sarcastic comments while doing something I don't like to do. So quickly give your responses, and those watching on YouTube also participate and give your responses in the chat box. And do not forget to write your name, your school name and region when you give your answers. So let's see your responses. What do you think? Okay. You have to match. You have to write first one. What is it like? Whether it's passive, aggressive, or what is the behavior? Yes, you can quickly write down your answers in the chat box, and we'll check the answers now. Still, you have time to write down your answers.
Here are the correct answers. Examples of behavior, type of behavior. If someone interrupts me when I am speaking, I will keep quiet. Passive. I express my feelings appropriately, without hesitation. Aggressive. I know how to hit back at someone who insults me. Assertive. I make sarcastic comments while doing something I don't like to do. Passive aggressive.
So students, here we see the right answers are, if someone interrupts me when I'm speaking, I'll keep quiet. If you are a passive, if a person has a passive behavior, he'll not say and he'll just keep quiet. And I express my feelings appropriately without hesitation is assertive, because you are honest and you say what you feel. It's assertive behavior. And then I know how to hit back at someone who insults me is aggressive, because you don't think that the person has behaved in that way and you also behave in the same way. So you are not thinking about others' feelings, you are just thinking about your own. Whereas we have seen the people with assertive behavior, they people with aggressive behavior, just they don't think about others. And the fourth one is I make sarcastic comments while doing something I don't like to do is passive aggressive behavior, because you don't just say honestly that you don't want to do, but like you will do it and you will keep on saying. So that is passive aggressive behavior. So I hope you all got your answers right, because this is the third session and we know now which type of behavior, what are the characteristics of each behavior.
We learned about a few basic rights. We should be aware that responsibilities come with rights. These are two sides of the same coin. Let's learn more about them now. First, let's focus on rights. Everyone has the right to be heard, the right to be respected and treated with dignity, the right to have an opinion and to say it out, the right to express feelings, about how others' behavior affects them. The right to think before acting. The right to say what they want and need. The right to say no and not feel guilty about it. The right to feel good about themselves. The right to make mistakes.
So students, we saw that with responsibilities, we have rights, but we do have responsibilities also. We just don't have the rights. We have some responsibilities with that. So we saw that these rights are there. The right to be heard, the right to be respected and treated with dignity, the right to have an opinion and say it out. We all do have that. The right to express the feelings about how others' behaviors affects them. The right to think before acting, which is very important, that before acting we have to think and just not behave whatever we want to behave. The right to say what they want and need. We have to say what we want and need. The right to say no and not feel guilty about it. If you do not want to do anything somebody says, and you should not be passive and just do the thing, but the right to say no and not feel guilty about it. The right to feel good about themselves, and the right to make mistakes, because we learn from mistakes.
Now, let's look at all the responsibilities that are an inevitable part of asserting one's rights.
So students, before going ahead, I'd like to take a poll question. So you all have to give in your answers. A poll will be displayed. A poll question will be displayed on the screen, and you have to give your answers, yes or no. I want everyone to write down the answers. You just have to click yes or no. So we'll have the poll question on the screen. The poll question is, yes, we'll just have it on the screen. Yes, Rupa, madam. Yes. Do you watch these videos regularly in your school? That is the question. And I already have 40 responses, but 115 participants are there. So I want everyone to participate. That do you want to watch these videos regularly in your school? Right now, I know you all liked it. And we like to continue watching because we have too many videos on all the life skills. We have a lot of videos which teach in the same manner, and we like to show it to you, and we like you to learn from it. So you have to answer whether you want this or not. And there are and the students watching on YouTube, you have the question on the screen that would you like to watch these videos regularly in your school? You have been watching it, you have been attending these sessions, and with your responses, we know that you like it. So will you like to watch these videos regularly in your school? Please write your answers. There are still many who have not given your answers. There are last 5 seconds. Please, everyone, give your answers. And we'll know whether to continue with these in your school. So most of you have written yes, only 2, 3 have written no. So we know that you all like the videos and you have learned. So I'd like to end the poll question here, and we'll move on to our session. Okay.
You and your 2 friends have birthdays in the same week. You have decided to celebrate in a special way. You want to watch a film. You're not sure what your friends are planning. How will you express your thought to your friends? 1. Believe that you are better at decision making and tell them that they should accept your idea if they're good friends. 2. Give each one's opinion. Explain why watching a movie is a good idea and get their consent. 3. Not tell them about your idea and let them decide.
So, if you have to watch a movie, what do you think? Like, what will be your answer? You'll believe that you are better at decision making and tell them they should accept your idea. You want to go for a movie. If they are were good friends, get each one's opinion, explain why watching a movie is a good idea, and get their concern. And otherwise, not tell them about your idea and let them decide. So, what is your answer for this? What would you do if you want to watch a movie with your friends? What would you say? Please write down your responses in the chat box, whether you'll say one, second option or the third option. Do write down your answers. Let's see what answers you are giving. What will you do? Okay. Yes, option 2. Yeah. Okay. So let's move further. Let's see.
Your friends have as much right as you have. If the rights have to be respected, each one's idea should be heard, and a final decision should be arrived at. So, get each one's opinion. Explain why watching a movie is a good idea, and get their consent is the appropriate thing to do. Each one of us has the right to be heard first and evaluated later. In the same way, we have the responsibility to listen to others too. Otherwise, many important or valuable ideas may be lost forever. Let's discuss the next right. You have worked very hard on a difficult subject and scored well. Your friend appreciates you for that. How will you respond? 1. Acknowledge the appreciation gracefully and gratefully with a smile. 2. Brush it aside, thinking you've always had the potential. 3. Feel shy and avoid acknowledgement of your achievement.
So students, here your friend appreciates you for your work. So what will be your reply? That you'll acknowledge the appreciation gracefully and gratefully with a smile, or you'll brush it aside thinking you have always had the potential, so the appreciation doesn't matter for you. And the third is you'll feel shy and avoid acknowledgement of your achievement, that you don't want to acknowledge it. And what would be your answer for this if your friend appreciates you for your achievement? So write down your responses in the chat box. What would be your answer? What would you reply? How would you reply if you are in this situation? Okay. Let me see your responses. I see that today the speed is slow. We are having, I want you all to quickly respond to the answers and not wait. So quickly respond to the answers for this. Okay. Yes, we have many answers now. We'll move ahead.
We should not confuse humility and modesty with acknowledging self-worth. Agreed. We have all been taught that humility is a virtue, which it is. A simple acceptance of our achievement does not make us conceited or arrogant. Assertiveness includes the right to feel good about oneself and the responsibility to acknowledge being praised with grace and gratitude. In the same way, we also have the responsibility to appreciate others.
Here, I'd like to take a short pause and welcome Mrs. Lakshmi Singh, Madam, who is the principal of Navodaya Vidyalaya Barmatara, Chhattisgarh of Bhopal region. She has joined us and she's watching the session. Thank you, Madam, for joining and watching the session. We'd like to have your feedback in a short while. Thanks, ma'am.
Younger brother is going to a fair on his own. You feel that it is better for him not to wear his gold bracelet when he visits a crowded place like that. How will you express this thought to him? 1. You are going to lose it like a fool. 2. It is not a safe thing to do, especially when you're on your own. 3. Don't try to show off that you have a gold bracelet.
So students, here you saw a situation that your brother is going to a place, crowded place, wearing a gold bracelet. So what would you say, and how would you say to him that do not wear the bracelet to that place? You will say you are going to lose it like a fool. Will you say like that? Or it is not a safe thing to do, especially when you are on your own. You'll say in this way, or don't try to show off that you have a gold bracelet. So what do you think you will say when your brother is wearing a gold bracelet to a crowded place and you want him to realize that he might lose it? So give your answers in the chat box. What is your answer for this? How would you say? Okay, write down quickly so that we have all the responses. Those watching on YouTube also, please give your responses quickly that what would you do in such a situation? And let's see further what's the correct answer.
Well, one has the right to express his or her opinions openly. He or she also has the responsibility to do so without hurting others in the process. I repeat, let's see a situation. You had borrowed a geometry box from a friend.
So he had his responsibility to mention it to his brother, but without hurting him. So he had to say that, okay, because this is a crowded place, you might lose him. You might lose it. So please do not wear it. And without shouting, because he's a younger brother, you cannot shout at him and say that, okay, you don't know, and you should do like this. You shouldn't be like be oppressive, and you should just tell him and make him understand.
And misplaced it somewhere. You realize your mistake. What will you do? 1. Think that as a true friend, he has to understand your situation. 2. Recall an incident when he lost something of yours and feel things have balanced out. 3. Apologize for your mistake and assure that you will be more careful in the future.
So students, you have lost your friend's thing, and now you have to tell him that you have lost it. So how would you tell? You'll think that as a true friend, he has to understand your situation and you'll tell him the truth, or you'll just recall an incident when he lost something of you and feel things have balanced out and just express that, okay, you also lost my thing and I have lost, so it's equal. You'll say in that way, or you'll apologize for your mistake and assure that you'll be more careful in future and you'll take care, and it's your mistake and you'll apologize. What would you do for that? So just write down your answers, whether it's option 1, 2, or 3. How would you behave if you lose your friend's thing? Quickly write down your answers in the chat box. Yes, now this is the 3rd session on assertiveness, and I know you have learned everything, so you can answer quickly. So I can see you writing quickly the answers, and thank you for writing so quickly.
Everyone has the right to make mistakes. However, one also has the responsibility to apologize to those who may have been affected by them. We should never forget that we are entitled to make mistakes, suffer consequences, and be ultimately responsible for our own thoughts, feelings, and actions. A street volleyball team is being formed. All the other members ask you to be the captain. You've never been a captain before. You're hesitant, wondering whether you can handle the responsibility. What do you do now? 1, say, I need some time to think about it. 2, say, since you guys are so insistent, I'll accept the position. 3, think of a clever excuse and not answer them directly.
So students, here you are offered to become the captain of the team, and this is the first time, and it just comes as a surprise for you that you are being offered to become a captain, and you are not sure what you should say. So what do you think you'll be saying? What will be your answer? You'll say that I need some time to think about it and give reply later, or you'll say, since you guys are so insistent, I'll accept the position, or you'll think of a clever excuse and not answer them directly. So what will you do in these conditions? If you are offered to become a captain just all of a sudden and you don't know this is the first time for you, so what would you do? Give your answers in the chat box, 1, 2, or 3. Which option will be yours? Quickly write down your answers.
If you were assertive, you would say, I need some time to think about it. You would think it over independently or discuss it with a few well-wishers and then give your decision. That is because you have the right to take time to think before doing anything, especially when taking an important decision. You have the right to take time to think before acting, but you also have the responsibility to not delay or affect others in the process of taking time to think. Everyone has the right to take time to think before doing anything, and also the responsibility to not unduly delay things or affect others in the process.
So here we saw that in this situation, if you are not sure, you'll ask for some time before giving the decision. But you have to make sure that it is your responsibility. If it is your right to take time and think before doing some important thing, but it is also your responsibility that the things are not delayed because of your not answering on time. So everyone has the right to take time to think before doing anything, and also the responsibility to not unduly delay things or affect others in the process, because others, if you are not going to become the captain and if you don't want to, then you have to say it after thinking, because otherwise the coach will appoint somebody else as the captain and not delay the process. So we have the responsibility with the rights.
You have always wanted a particular video game. How will you handle this decision?
So students, before going to the topic, I'd like to take another poll question, and I'd like everyone to reply to that. And a poll question will be displayed on the screen and you have to answer it. Those watching on YouTube will get the poll question displayed on the screen, and you have to write the answers in the chat box, yes or no. Okay, we'll see the poll question on the screen and everybody has to click yes or no. Okay. Yes, will you like to participate in the activities? So what is your answer, whether it's yes or no? Would you like to participate in the activities with your classmates in role plays and sing along songs, group activities, which are included in the videos? So you see that we have lots of activities in the sessions, which are some we are not doing because we cannot do as a group. So would you like to participate in the activities? Did you like the experience sharing here? And I know you all liked it, and so you like to participate, and mostly all of you have replied yes. So those who have not replied, quickly reply to your answer and give your response, yes or no. It's last 5 seconds for this, and we'll just remove the poll question now. Those watching on YouTube, you can see the question on the screen. Would you like to participate in the activities with your classmates in role plays, sing along songs, experience sharing, and all these activities that we do in the topic? Yes, now we'll end the poll here. We have mostly got the answer yes, and you all are interested. So we'll end the poll here and we'll move on to the topic.
Desire. 1. Expect your parents to sense your desire and buy it for you. 2. Insist you get it within a specific period of time. 3. Express your desire openly and ask them to get it whenever it is possible for them. While you have the right to express your desire openly to your parents, you also have the responsibility to understand their difficulties in getting your desire fulfilled. In case your desire gets fulfilled, you have the responsibility to use it properly and not waste it. Now, a situation. I'll narrate the context and 4 possible types of responses. Past.
So students, here you saw the example that you want something from your parents and you have to tell them. You can tell them, but you also have to understand if they are, if it is possible for them to give it to you or not. You have to understand that along with that, because with right, you have the responsibility to understand also. So you'll understand that whether they can do, if they have done it, if they have bought the thing for you, you have to make sure that you use it and you don't waste the thing. And if they cannot buy, you can understand that it was some problem and they couldn't buy it at that time.
Aggressive, passive-aggressive, and assertive, but not in the same order. You have to match them appropriately as I call out each of them. There are 5 friends. One person's father sells homemade pickles, and the friend wants the other 4 to buy a jar each. All of them still have some of the pickle bought from him on a previous occasion. One of them gives a passive response, another an aggressive response, another a passive-aggressive, and the last assertive. You will see on the screen 4 responses, and you need to match each with the type of behavior. Response. Type of behavior. Will decline politely.
So students, here is a situation where one friend, there are 5 friends, and one wants others to take the bottle of pickle, and he's asking the others. So everybody gives a different reply. So you'll have you have on the screen on the left side the response, and on the right side the type of behavior which matches the response. So what would be the behavior called if the reply is this? So just match it, just read it attentively and then reply.
Explaining that there is some of the previous stock remaining at home. Passive. Will buy another jar, finding it awkward to say no. Aggressive. Say the pickles were awful. Passive-aggressive. Will offer to buy it at a later date and postpone buying. Assertive.
Students, which do you think is passive aggressive? And will decline politely by explaining that there is some of the previous stock remaining at home. So which type of behavior is that? So will buy another jar, finding it awkward to say no. This indicates what type of behavior. And say the pickles were awful. So what do you think the behavior is here? And will offer to buy it at a later date and postpone buying. So which type of behavior is this? Just match them with the right behavior and write your responses in the chat box. What do you think that the behavior indicates? Okay, write down your answers quickly in the chat box. Now you are really expert in identifying the behavior, because we have done, this is the 3rd session on the behaviors. So I know you are an expert. So just quickly write down your answers. Let's see the correct answers.
The right answers are response. Type of behavior. Will decline politely by explaining that there is some of the previous stock remaining at home. Assertive. Will buy another jar, finding it awkward to say no. Passive. Say the pickles were awful. Aggressive. Will offer to buy it at a later date and postpone buying. Passive-aggressive.
So students, here we can see what type of behaviors are these. Will decline politely by explaining that there is some of the previous stock remaining at home. That is assertive, because you just don't say no. You explain that why you are saying no, and you are being honest. And the second is just because of you are passive and you cannot say no. You'll buy another jar, finding it awkward to say no. and say the pickles, because if the person is aggressive, they'll say that the pickles were awful because you don't want to buy, and you just say bad about the thing that is there, rather than saying that, okay, I don't want to buy, you'll say the pickles are awful. That's a very aggressive behavior, and will offer to buy it at a later date and postpone buying. That behavior is passive aggressive behavior, because the person is not going to buy in future also, but you'll just say the friend is not being honest to his friend, so he is passive aggressive by not being honest.
Another exercise now. Kamala invites Shamala to an important function at her place and says she must not miss it for anything, if she were a true friend. On the very same day, Shamala's close relatives have called her over to take them out for some important shopping. If Shamala is assertive, what would she say? Shamala would explain her situation and say that she would never dishonor Kamala's invitation otherwise, and politely excuse herself. Some people often have a way with those who are not assertive. They use a wide variety of techniques, including emotional blackmail, to force people into unnecessary obligations. Assertiveness helps people to exercise their right to say no without having to feel guilty. That is because assertive people give equal importance to their own needs and others, and express their predicaments openly. As social beings, we should remember that having the right to do a thing does not mean the right to do anything or everything. We have seen that assertiveness is as much about asserting ourselves as it is about respecting others' assertiveness also. Assertiveness is equalizing power and not overpowering others with our rights. We should be responsible while exercising our rights so that there are no negative and unpleasant consequences. It will be good to remember 3 concepts: limit, responsibility, sense of balance.
So students, here we saw that if you are assertive, you'll think about others also while thinking about your own needs, and you have to be responsible. And if a person is passive, the others will ask them to do things what they don't want to do. And if a passive person would not be able to say no, and as we saw that we have a right to say no if you find anything wrong. So you have to say no if you don't want to a particular thing, and you don't agree. So you have to say no for that, and you have to be responsible. So if a person is assertive, he'll think about others also equally as he'll think about himself, he or she. And with assertiveness comes limit, that you have to limit. You don't have to override the limit that, okay, you can just go and do things. Responsibility has to be there while doing things, thinking about others and being responsible. And a sense of balance has to be there. You don't have to overpower if somebody is just listening to you and behaving in a way you want. So you have to think about them also, and you don't have to cross the line of balance that is there. So let's see.
Limits are important because we cannot have limitless rights. That is, we cannot act the way we want with total disregard for others. We should remember that while we have the right to make mistakes, the teacher has the right to point out the mistakes in order to guide us. With rights comes the power to deal with ourselves and others in situations. Power without responsibility is dangerous. That's why there should be a sense of balance. Asserting our rights should not interfere with others exercising their rights. Assertive people realize and accept their rights knowing fully well that there are limitations and responsibilities, and develop their abilities to realize their goals. Shall we now summarize what we've learned so far?
So students, here we saw that what is assertive behavior and how it affects the life, and we learned all about it. So I'd like you all to summarize the lesson, that what you have learned about assertive behavior and how it influences you. And in today's session, what have you learned? You'll have to summarize it in before that, we'd like to take a poll question again, and so that before summarizing, you get the time also to think about what you have learned today. And there'll be a poll question displayed on the screen, and you can write down your answers, yes or no. Okay, do you feel that this life skill workshop is a waste of time? Yes or no? You have to write down your answer, yes or no. Okay, quickly give your response. That do you feel that this life skill workshop is a waste of time for you? Okay, it's yes. So many have given yes answer, and then they are deleting it, and they are giving, because I mean you are used to saying yes, but in this you have by mistake given the answer yes, and then you are deleting and writing no. I can see that. So do you feel that this life skill workshop is a waste of time? Yes or no? Okay. Mostly you all have written no. And some of you who had written yes have deleted and written no. So I just have 3-4 answers who say yes, and all others have written no. So those watching on YouTube, you have the question on the screen, that do you think that this life skill workshop is a waste of your time? Do write your answers in the chat box, yes or no. Okay, I can see even the responses in the chat box that it is fruitful. So last 5 seconds and the poll question is ending here. So write down your answers quickly. Those who have not attended the poll questions, please do attend. Don't write on the chat box on Zoom. Write in the poll question on the screen where you have the poll question displayed. Okay, we'll end the poll now, and you'll have to continue with the summary of the topic that you have learned. Okay, you'll have to summarize the lesson now.
People have the right to make mistakes, but they also have the responsibility to apologize to the affected people, learn from mistakes, and set them right.
So here we learn that people have the right to make mistakes. We all have the right to make mistakes, but that doesn't mean that we don't have the responsibility. And with rights also comes the responsibility. That is very important to remember, that with right comes the responsibility. So people have the right to make mistakes, but they also have the responsibility to apologize to the affected people, learn from mistakes, and set them right. This is very important, students, that you have to remember that if you make a mistake, it's your responsibility to apologize and to make the mistakes right and learn from that. You have to learn from mistakes. Making mistakes is not wrong, but learning from your mistakes is very important.
With the right of taking time to decide or learn comes the responsibility of not hindering others.
With the right of taking time to decide or learn comes the responsibility of not hindering others.
Excuse me, ma'am. Sorry
Yes?
to interrupt, Krishna, ma'am. Like your screen sharing is stopped, so we are unable to watch the video.
Oh, it's stopped. Okay, I'll share it again.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, can you see?
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
Okay, so you missed out the last thing. Okay, we'll summarize the lesson again.
People have the right to make mistakes, but they also have the responsibility to apologize to the affected people, learn from mistakes, and set them right. With the right of taking time to decide or learn comes the responsibility of not hindering others.
The students here, we saw by the example of if you are told to become the captain and you don't want, you take time to decide, but then you have to tell that in due time. You don't have to take a lot of time, because then you have the responsibility of not wasting others' time and hindering others. So taking time, right to take time is right, but the responsibility which comes with it is you don't have to waste others' time. That is very important.
If people have the right to ask for what they want and need, they also have the responsibility to not waste what they get and to not disregard the feelings of those people who fulfill those needs and wants.
So here with the example of that girl who asked his parents to buy something, we learned that if we have the right to ask, but we also have the responsibility not to waste what we get, and do not disregard the feelings of those people who fulfill those needs and wants for you. So you have to be grateful for that, and you have the responsibility to not waste if you've got what you want.
Assertiveness involves understanding limits, responsibilities, and balance.
So here we learned with different examples in all the session that assertiveness involves understanding the limits, responsibilities, and balance. We do have rights, but we do have responsibilities with that. There has to be a balance of everything. It does not has to override. And we have the limits also. It doesn't mean that if you are assertive, the limits have to be set for everything. That is very important.
Thank you for summarizing the lesson well. Shall we do a bit of homework to reinforce what we've learned so far? Question 1. Sarla is teaching Raja how to use the sewing machine. Since he keeps making mistakes, it develops problems and keeps getting stuck. Sarla points this out. What should Raja say in order to respond in an assertive manner? Responses. 1. How can you say I spoiled the machine? You don't know how to teach me properly. That's why it's getting stuck. 2. It's my mistake that the machine is getting stuck often. 3. It's just that I'm learning. I'll try not to repeat my mistakes. 4. The machine must have developed fever. Get a doctor.
So students, here's a situation where Sarla is teaching Raja how to use the sewing machine. And since he keeps making mistakes, it develops problem. The machine gets problems and keeps getting stuck. So Sarla points this out to Raja. What should Raja say in order to respond in an assertive manner? What should be the response from these? First one is, how can you say I spoiled the machine? You don't know how to teach me properly, and that is why it is getting stuck. That is the first answer Raja gives. Second is, it's my mistake that the machine is getting stuck so often. The third is, it's just that I'm learning. I'll try not to repeat my mistakes. And the fourth one is, the machine must have developed a fever and please get a doctor. That is the answer Raja gives. So which one do you think is the correct answer in assertive manner? Write down your answers in the chat box, whether the answer is 1, 2, 3, or 4. Which one is a assertive answer? Please quickly write down your answers in the chat box. Let's see how much you have learned. And I know you all are getting the answers right because you have attended the class very attentively. Let's move on to the second question.
Question 2. Your friends suggest that you all have a group study at Nagarajan's house in the evening. You want to think about it, but they insist that you tell them your plan soon. What will be an appropriate response from you? Responses. 1. I'll not tell them my decision. 2. I'll decide quickly what to do and not waste their time. 3. I'll say, I told you I need time to think, didn't I? 4. I'll agree to join them, but then avoid going there.
So students, here we saw the situation. So what is the right answer in this? Is your friend suggests that all of you have a group study at Nagarajan's house in the evening. You want to think about it, but they have insisted that you tell the answer and your plan soon. So what will be the appropriate response from this? I'll not
Agree to join them, but then avoid going there.
So, which is the appropriate? I'll not tell them my decision. I'll decide quickly what to say and not waste that time. And I'll say, I told you I need time to think. So, didn't I tell you? So, why you are asking me? I'll agree to join them, but then avoid going there and just say, okay, I'll join and not go. So, what is an appropriate response that should be given? Okay, write down your answers. And I know you all are getting the answers right now that. Okay, quickly write down your answers. Then we'll see what is the correct answer. Okay.
Shall we discuss the answers now? For question 1, Sarla is teaching Raja how to use the sewing machine. Since he keeps making mistakes, it develops problems and keeps getting stuck. Sarla points this out. What should Raja say in order to respond in an assertive manner? The response, how can you say I spoiled the machine? You don't know how to teach me properly. That's why it's getting stuck, is inappropriate because it shows an aggressive response. The response, it's my mistake that the machine is getting stuck often, is also inappropriate because it shows a passive response. The response, the machine must have developed fever, get a doctor, is also inappropriate because it shows sarcasm, which is indicative of passive-aggressive behavior. It's just that I'm learning. I'll try not to repeat my mistakes, is appropriate because it shows a willingness to learn from mistakes and an honest expression of thoughts and feelings. What was your answer?
So students, did you get your answer right, an assertive answer? I know you all have got it right.
For question 2, your friends suggest that you all have a group study at Nagarajan's house in the evening. You want to think about it, but they insist that you tell them your plan soon. What will be an appropriate response from you? The response, I'll not tell them my decision, is inappropriate because it shows passive behavior. I'll say, I told you I need time to think, didn't I? Is also inappropriate because it shows an aggressive response. I'll agree to join them, but then avoid going there, is also inappropriate because it shows dishonesty and passive aggression. I'll decide quickly what to do and not waste their time, is appropriate because while it exercises the right to take time to decide something, it also shows the responsibility and sensitivity to not waste others' time. What was your answer?
Students, did you get your answer right?
Congratulations to those who got them all right.
So students, we'll have one poll question quickly. So you can write down your answers. It will be displayed on the screen, the question. And being creative has and doing creatively. So being creative and doing creatively are the same things. What do you think? What is your answer? Yes or no? Quickly write down your answers. Being creative and doing creatively are the same things. Okay. I can see your answers, some deleting and writing in these, so confused. So being creative and doing creatively are the same things. So those watching on YouTube, you can see the poll question on the screen. You can reply the answer yes or no. And those on Zoom have to reply in the poll so that we know how many of you have replied. So please do not reply in the chat box, reply on the screen. Okay, we have 5 more seconds and we'll end the question here. We'll end the poll here. Okay, we'll end the poll and okay, we'll end the poll here. And now I'd like to invite Mrs. Lakshmi Singh, Madam, who is the principal of Navodaya Vidyalaya, Barmatara, Chhattisgarh, Bhopal region. She's there with us. She has seen the whole session and she is associated with our program since long. And so I'd like her to say a few words about the program. And yes, Madam, welcome, Madam, to the session. Yes, madam, you can unmute yourself and say.
Okay, fine. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, madam. Welcome to the session.
Thank you. Thank you for your invitation. And once again, first of all, I would like to express my gratitude to invite here. First of all, that's our DC sir, Hyderabad region, Gopal Krishnanji, and then Aparajita Foundation, the implementation Northeastern and the Eastern region in charge of Ms. Ranjanji, and then our headquarters, Navodaya Vidyalaya Samiti, our regional office, Bhopal. I have heard your session, previous session, and that there we have discussed about the assertiveness. These kind of sessions really very important and thoughtful for the young ones. I would like to take one example. Children, dear children, I think every children are listening here. When
Yes,
we describe male or the female, then for the female, could you tell the social adjective, 5 social adjective in general? For the male person, number 1, what we say for the male person, assertive. In general, what we say, assertive. And then number 2, aggressive. Number 3, strong muscular. Number 4, financially independent. Number 5, beard, daddy for male. And if we describe a female, social adjective for any female, then we describe the female with a few adjectives like here, I think our students are not able to answer. So from our student sides, I am answering myself.
they are on the chat box, but you answer. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, submissive, yes. Emotional, beautiful, house manager, breast. Once again, we will just change this. Could we take this social adjective, the male social adjective for any female? Number 1, assertive. Could any female be assertive? Yes, she could be. Any female could be assertive. Number 2, aggressive. Yes, she could be. I mean, strong muscular. Yes, she could be. Financially independent. Yes. Beard, never. In general, I'm telling. And in the same way, the social adjective for 5 social adjective for the this one, female. Any male, can we take any male? Number 1, male can be also submissive, emotional, beautiful, house manager, but the 5th one, breast. No. In general, no. It's mean when we categorize male and female on the basis of what? On the basis of their social behavior, social perspective, social skill sets. But what makes the difference? The difference is their biological part, and that is the beard and the breast. Otherwise, anyone can have the positive values, and these values can be inculcated through these kind of programs, especially our young ones. So, from our entire NBS committee, we are really obliged to this Aparajita Foundation and their mentors to have these kinds of program in our own school. We arrange regularly these videos so that our students may learn. While learning is very important, specifically the social learning, to articulate our thoughts, to be the financially independent, first we need how to articulate our thoughts. And to articulate our thoughts, we need to learn the social and the life skills. So my dear students, really these kind of programs are blessings for all of us. We must learn and inculcate the values so as to groom our personality and our personal growth to strive for our futures. So thank you once again. And I just want to express for our students about their social well-beings and emotional well-beings. That's very, very important thing before attaining any kind of financial independence or any things. So really, once again, it's a wonderful sessions. These summer camps organized by Aparajita Foundation and our own committee. Thank you once again to everyone, and specific thanks to our Ranjan sir, who continuously approached me to be in this program. Thank you all of you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for coming and sharing your thoughts. And you have very beautifully explained that, physical body is not define you, but the behavior defines you. You are very, in a very beautiful way, you have explained to everyone, and that it is so important, the responsibility and everything. Thank you for sharing your thoughts, and thank you for taking out your time. And I've seen your interview before also, that you have been associated with us, and you are giving these life skills lessons to the students of your school. And thank you very much for joining with us. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Aarti madam, now we'd like to take up the queries of students. Aarti madam.
Yeah, sure, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for motivating these children. And I'm sure, children, you would have learned a lot through this life skill session on aversion, as our participants are mostly teenagers and they must be going through this turmoil, concerning behavior as to how to behave or how to deal with different situations. So this lesson would surely help them out. So children, keep utilizing these skills in your everyday life. And now I would like to read out few names. This message is from Bhargava MP. Thank you, ma'am. The communication skill is very important in our life. So I will apply these skills to my life, and how to reply in the situation, how to talk with them. This is an assertive behavior. So this is what Bhargav writes. And then we have Manya P. Shetty. She says that she found it very informative and engaging. The session was very engaging, and your teaching style is clear and easy to follow, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. I learned how to react and respond to a situation. So this is quite motivating. Few students, they've given up their answers in, they've chosen the options. This is Aksh, who says that today's session was just awesome and I enjoyed answering and learned a lot. Thanks for providing such a great session. Jia JNV, this is Kothipura, Bilaspur, Himachal Pradesh. Then we have few more participants who are very active, very actively they've been participating. All the polls they've answered, and moreover, all the activities, whatever activities we have reflected, whatever was shown on the screen, they have given answers to each and every activity. So that was really appreciating. This is a few more I would like to read. This is Dilraj, who says that these are very motivating activities. Then we have Prabjot Kaur. She's from Government Girls Senior Secondary School, Sultanpur Lodi, Chandigarh. So she's a very active participant. Most of the activities, whatever were reflected, she's given answers to all of them. This is Mahira Amar Khan. Aggressive behavior refers to behavior that is indeed harm to another individual. Violence is aggression that creates extreme physical harm. Yes, that's very right. So now I would invite students to raise their hands who just want to give their feedback.
Even we can take up the queries if you have relevant to the topics that you have learned. If any query you have, you can raise your hands and ask that, and also give your feedback.
Yeah, so there is this Pavanathi.
Good afternoon, ma'am. I'm Pavananti from JNV Kottayam, Hyderabad region. I would actually like to give my feedback. First of all, I would like to thank all the teachers for giving so much effort and spending your time for teaching us these skills. These skills not only gave me knowledge, it is also so motivating and encouraging for me. All the things are being taught clearly and very flexible for me and everyone to understand. And I personally like the sessions on time management and how to avoid conflicts. And this session especially, I liked it so much because it gave some examples of making mistakes and etc. I liked it actually, and these sessions I can feel myself having some changes. And thank you for giving these knowledges, and it is so inspiring.
Thank you, Pavanathi, for the beautiful feedback. It has really made our day that you have learned so much. Yes, Aarti madam.
Yeah, there is another participant, Shobha Rani. Ma'am, if you can just unmute. Please go ahead if you want to speak something.
Yes, Shobharam, you are unmuted. You can unmute yourself and say whatever your query is or your feedback is. Okay, Vedasri, Lakshmi.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon, all the teachers. So I would like to share my feedback on these life skill sessions. These life skill sessions are really very useful to us, ma'am. I really learned a lot about all the types of behaviors, passive, aggressive, and all the types. So I really, these sessions are really very useful to us, ma'am. Generally, I was not only this, all the sessions are useful, ma'am, and I was also able to solve the problems in my daily life and able to see the different types of persons with all these behaviors, and I was able to identify them. So thank you, ma'am. Thank you a lot for these sessions, ma'am.
Thank you, Vedasri, for your wonderful feedback. And we are so glad that you have learned from it and you have even identified with it, like in your real life, you have implied it in your real life. So thank you for coming forward and giving your feedback. And we are glad that you have implemented in your life. Thank you. Yes, Shobharam, now he's unmuted.
Good evening, ma'am. I am Shobharani of class 10 from JNV Srikakulam. Now,
Okay.
I want to give a feedback. These sessions are very interesting and beautiful sessions, ma'am. At first, I felt that these sessions are very bored. Finally, I realized that these sessions are very good and these are very useful in everyone's life, mainly in students' life. I learned a lot from these sessions. I'm really inspired and I'm sharing my experience to the different people. They have also learned a lot, ma'am. Now I want to express my sincere gratitude to Aparajita Foundation for providing animation videos, which is helpful for us to get concentration, and we listen the classes every day by seeing animation videos, and we learned a lot, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am, for giving this wonderful opportunity.
Yes, thank you, Shobharani, for sharing your feedback and that you have learned so much and you would like to see more of these kind of sessions. So thank you very much and for sharing your feedback.
We have Geetika also. Geetika, you can just unmute yourself.
Very good afternoon, ma'am. I'm Geetika from JNV Guntur, Hyderabad region. Really, I'm really glad to say thanks to all of you because I learned so many things from these classes. In starting of the classes, I think that these are really useful in my real life, like that I use it to think. But the classes are going and I'm daily listening your classes. I'm really benefited to all these classes. I'm really thankful to everyone who is directly and indirectly teaching us these wonderful lessons. I'm really glad to say this. My sincere thanks to everyone. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you,
I learned
Geetika.
so many things.
I know that everybody wants to say, and I can see the responses in the chat box also. Gitika, thank you for sharing your feedback, and we are really grateful that each one of you is coming out and saying that you have liked, because we have put all the efforts so that it makes a transformation in you, it makes a change in your life, and I can see that you all have started implementing
Ma'am?
and making a change. Yeah. Yes.
Ma'am, can I?
Yes.
Ma'am, myself, Ambu Anjali, I am from JNV Sri Satya Sai, Hyderabad region.
Yes.
And I want to give a feedback on these classes. And thank you for Vignan Jyoti for conducting these beautiful sections, because we are enjoying so much and we can respond very easily. And the language English is very understandable for us, because and if in this generation animated videos are very influencing for like us students. So thank you to Aparajita Foundations for conducting these beautiful sections, and I wish it in next year Vignan Jyoti students, that is our juniors, also get this opportunity from you all, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, thank you, Ambu Anjali, for sharing your feedback, and that you are being assertive, like you are thinking about your juniors also. That is the impact that we can see in you, and immediately, like instantly, we can see the impact. So I'm thankful that you have shared your feedback, and it's definitely making an impact, and because we could see, and we'll move to another. Thank you. We'll move to another now. Aarti madam.
Yeah, this is B. Bhuvan. Please unmute yourself. Please go ahead.
Ma'am, actually, I have raised my hand to give a feedback on these classes, ma'am.
Yeah, sure. Please go ahead.
These classes are very helpful for us in our day-to-day classes. We are learning many of the important things which are very useful to us in our life, ma'am. And all the topics are very interesting. I thank all the teachers and the Vignan Jyoti Samiti who are providing their valuable time for us and making us to be achieved in our lives, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
That was wonderful to hear from you. Such motivating words, it's I mean, like, it always motivates, not only it motivates all the age group. You people, we are motivating you in a way. You people, through your feedback, you people are also motivating us so very much. Thank you, children. Krishna ma'am, can we end the session now?
Yes, I think we have taken up all the queries now.
Yeah.
No more raised hands are there, right?
Yeah.
So those who have given the feedback, we are really thankful to you. You have come forward and given your feedback, which has made a really big difference in like the sessions that we have taken. And so those who are not able to give the feedback online right now, can give your feedback in the website. Go to our website and upload your video, or you can go to the Google Drive link, which is shared in the chat box, and you can upload your video there. So do give your feedback that how did you like our sessions. Thank you, Aarti ma'am, and thank you, Rupa ma'am, and Samiha ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah, and children, please do not forget to fill up the Google form and submit that. And that's all for today. Keep learning, keep smiling. God bless you all.
Goodbye, students.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you, Aarti ma'am. Thank you, Krishna Patel ma'am.